Hi guys, I want to talk to you about should you be cutting fat on a ketogenic diet? The answer to that is really no. When you set up your macros on Ruled Me Keto Calculator, if you actually Google Ruled Me Keto Calculator, you'll see that there is no need to cut anything more than what you're already doing. You're putting yourself in 20% deficit when you figure it out. So why would you get to a point where you want to go further than that and take fat away even more? Do you know what fat does? Fat promotes your vitamin absorption, A, D, E, and K. And if you put yourself in too much of a deficit and you don't make up for the deficit that you're putting yourself in with another nutrient, well, now we're talking calories in versus calories out. Starvation mode, stalling. You can even run into some vitamin deficiency problems if you do it long enough, because now you're not even absorbing and promoting the vitamins like you normally should be. So why reinvent the wheel? If you're losing, continue to lose. Once you stall, you might go into a couple days, a week, 2 weeks. If you follow Dr. Eric Westman, he'll even tell you a real stall is not like it's not just 1 day, it's not 1 week, it's not 2 weeks. It can take up to 4 weeks sometimes. And at that point, that's when we'll start considering, is there something wrong? Are you not doing something correctly? Are you simply eating too much dietary fat? Are you going to have to go into a fasted state to break it? But typically that's not it. What I'll do is I'll take somebody and I'll tell them, have 40 extra grams of fat this next day, and then possibly even the day after that, and then go back to your regular eating where you're back in your 20% deficit, and all of a sudden your body pops right back out of it, right back into losing again. It's simply just shaking things up, but that definitely doesn't mean putting yourself in such an extreme calorie deficit to the point where you're not even giving yourself the proper nutrients to do what it's supposed to do. Now you'll hear all these people out here that talk, and they're pretty big people, and they might even have some pull in the YouTuber world or the ketogenic world because they've been doing it so long. But when you look at the medical studies and you look at the doctors that talk about this, there is no need to cut fat like that. You want to keep the fat in your body. You want to keep eating fat to satiate your appetite, but it's only to a satiation point. If you follow doctors like Dr. Ken Berry, he'll tell you, eat food. Don't be afraid to eat food, but listen to your body. Eat fat so it will pull your appetite down and you stop eating. But then you listen to somebody like doctors like Dr. Feeney and Dr. Volek, where they want you to have a higher protein than fat, and people typically are tracking on their programs. And then you'll go to Dr. Berg, where Dr. Eric Berg will say, a general rule of thumb would be 3 to 6 ounces of protein if you're going to have like 3 meals a day, like 3 to 6 ounces, 3 to 6 ounces, 3 to 6 ounces, and anywhere between like 30 and 40 grams of fat, 30, 40 grams of fat, 30, 40. And you know what? Those ratios are actually pretty decent. They're not bad. But then we actually go back to the drawing board. When you talk like Dave Feldman and when you listen to people on the Joe Rogan show and stuff like that, where they talk about, they pull doctors on, and doctors are like, you know what, you're going to still have protein synthesis, and you're still going to promote lean muscle mass, so you really don't even need all the protein too. So guys, this gets so confusing when you hear all these medical professionals out there that are talking about, oh, you need this and you need that, and you're going to have to figure all this stuff out. It doesn't work. Just eat. Quit doing all that stuff. Just eat. Like literally, find what works for you and just eat. If you get into a stall, cut the artificial sweetener. If that doesn't work, cut the dairy. If that doesn't work, increase your fat a little bit. Then if that doesn't work, go a little bit more. Give yourself a couple chances of doing something before you go to the point of having to do an egg fast or a bacon fast or an extended fast or something like that. And if you're not intermittent fasting, well, here's your chance to try it out. Go to an intermittent fast and try that out. Well, if that doesn't work, go to 1 meal a day. But understand, when you're doing these, you need to consume as close to total nutrients as possible. Because in the beginning, the first few days, you might lose weight, but then you're going to get to a point where you're going to stall. So you got to think about these things. If you're trying to play tricks with your body that's a lot smarter than you, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. You can't change that. I've tried it so many times where I put myself in a calorie restricted state. I'm supposed to be having 2,400 calories a day, 2,200 calories a day, and I'm consuming 13 or 1,400. And I might lose for a couple days, but then all of a sudden I go into this long stall that sometimes it takes me a long time to get out of. And you know how I fix it? By going back to consuming what I'm supposed to be having. Now, if you're not losing, another thing that can be causing it, I know this might sound silly, but salt is life. Salt is life. If you have not read the book, The Salt Fix, this guy takes the whole entire medical industry and flips them upside down. Completely embarrasses the hell out of them, and then proves why salt does not cause high blood pressure. Salt does not cause these heart disease and arteriosclerosis or whatever else. Well, you know, I'm not saying those are. I'm just it doesn't cause these disorders. It can be a little hard on the kidney if you have a kidney that needs to be healed. But at the same time, your kidney, in this book, they talk about your kidney can actually filter out more sodium than you can even possibly consume per minute. So you would get sick before you can consume so much sodium that your kidneys couldn't filter it out. So think about that. I have between 3,500 and like 4,500 milligrams of sodium per day. I've just asked Dr. Ken Berry for a rough estimate on what he thinks. And I know he doesn't really use numbers a lot because he thinks salt is important. He just says, you know, take a pinch of salt throughout the day. If you start feeling like you want some sweets or something like that, or you just, you know, you feel like you're getting a little hungry, throw some salt in your mouth. It'll almost fix it every time. And he's right. I started doing that and it does. I'll be at work and I'll feel like I like to snack on something right now. And I'll go over to my toolbox and I'll grab, just like he said, just some salt right in my hand, throw it in my mouth, and I'll drink some water. And then sure enough, 20, 30 minutes later, I'm not even hungry no more. So it works, and it keeps me from stalling. I've been consistently losing a little bit every single day, and I'm doing one meal a day, but a carnivore diet. So just be cognizant of what you're doing, and don't fall into all these other traps and stuff that, you know, it may work for people, but I just don't promote it, and I don't think it's a safe thing to do. If you're gonna fast, fast, and if you're gonna eat, eat. That's how it was thousands of years ago. When they ate, and when they didn't have food, they just didn't have food. There was no, let's go ahead and pick at this and restrict myself so I make myself sick, and your body gets very confused when you do that. It's just not a good idea. All right, guys, that's my take on how to break a stall and should you be cutting fat. Thanks. I appreciate it. Keto on. Subscribe to the channel, would you? Hit the bell so you get a notification from time to time. Just support me if you can. Our keto group should be supporting each other, and if you're a ketogenic person, I would be trying to get as much information from people as I possibly can. And if you would just support me, subscribe, hit the bell. I come up with stuff every once in a while. I even do car stuff or whatever, like, because I'm a professional mechanic. I'm a union diesel mechanic. And even if you guys had questions and stuff on that, you just want me to do a separate video on something that's wrong with your car, I'd do it too. I know that's silly, but this is a networking thing here, and we all should be gathering like family, but that is my profession. And I've been doing ketogenics for 8 years, and I've been teaching it now for 4. I've been on a straight keto diet for 18 months. I've lost 126 pounds, probably, well, 130 pounds now. And I love it. It's been my life. I follow the science behind it every day. Like, literally, I'm not even kidding you when I tell you, I go to work and my boss gets so upset because I log in in the morning, headphones go right on, and I'm into an audiobook right away, whether it be cholesterol clarity, keto clarity, the salt fix, or the 21-day reset program or whatever for keto. And I'm always listening to it, and then I'm going back and I'm listening about Ansel Keys, how he started this whole pandemic on fat's bad for you and stuff like that, and how we've progressed and where we're going. So I know a lot, probably a little too much, because sometimes it's hard to get it to come out whenever I want to think about it. But anyhow, that's my take on stuff, and I really appreciate the support, guys. All right, thank you. Keto on.